I have great respect for the past. If you don't know where you've come from, you don't know where you're going. Our world is full of moments, history, choices that we make in minutes. For all the years that you've lived, have you ever wondered what our world looked like when you were born? Was it a good place? Or was it not so great? Were disastrous things happening on in our world? What do you know happened the month that you were born? The only thing that I knew before I did this project was that on July 24th, 1998, when I was born, my grandpa and my two sisters watched Lion King 2 15 times. But what else? What moments? What events? What history? Let's dig a little deeper into the month of July 1998. Let's start with books, movies, actresses and actors, and other famous people. I'm sure many of you know the famous author J.K. Rowling. She actually published Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets on July 2nd, 1998. She's, quite honestly, I believe to be one of the most successful writers. Her books and the movies later on. On July 18th, the African American president, Nelson Mandela, got married at the age of 80. You're never too old to fall in love. On July 20th, June Bryce died at 76. He was a professional wrestler. So just as people come into the world in the month that we were born, people also left our world. On July 22nd, Madison Pettis was born. She's known for her Disney Channel acting, and she would now be 23. On July 29th, The Parent Trap was released, starring Lindsay Lohan and Dennis Quaid. This was a great family movie. It was a remake, and it was a wonderful romantic comedy about two girls who came together and brought their parents back together at the end. Another great movie that is one of my personal favorites that came out actually July 31st was Ever After, and this is a old-fashioned rendition of A Cinderella Story starring Drew Barrymore. The next thing that I want to talk about is zodiac signs. So for those of you who don't know what those are, they're when you're born from a certain date to another date. When you're born between those two dates, you are considered either a certain zodiac sign. So for instance, for the month of July, there's two. So if you were born between June 21st and July 22nd, your sign is a Cancer. If you were born between July 23rd and August 22nd, you're considered a Leo. So some people believe that because of where the sun and the constellations were arranged, this can tell a person some basic things about their human nature or their personality or some of their traits. So for Cancer, this is considered a water sign. The sign that represents it is actually a crab. Some of their personality tendencies could be emotional, nurturing, sensitive. A common thing is that you see is they wear their heart on their sleeve. Some of their strengths can be very loyal, protective, intuitive, and caring. Some of their weaknesses could be overly sensitive or moody. And then when it comes to Leo, this is more near the end of the month of July, they're a fire sign and they're represented by a lion. And they can be warm or passionate, very strong or brave. Strengths could be having a lot of generosity, a big heart, determination, natural leadership. And some weaknesses can be arrogance, stubbornness, or being too trustful in people, or not responding to criticism well. The other thing that I did some research on, which I found interesting because it did have to do with just the zodiac signs in the month of July, was that There's not a great high compatibility between Cancer and Leo, even though they're both in the month of July. So the reason why they would be low is because both signs express emotions in very different ways. Um, and also the way that they experience fun and interaction with other people. So Leos prefer words of affirmation, while Cancer believe that actions speak a lot louder than words. And that can sometimes cause problems, I would say, especially in an emotional relationship um, or a romantic one. And then when it comes to definitions of fun, Leos tend to be a lot more extroverted and they want to go out or they want to go to a bar and do something outside. Cancers would be just fine sitting at home, maybe watching a movie, having some popcorn or takeout. So the next thing we're going to talk about is historical facts that happened in the month of July 1998. Unfortunately, some are positive, and actually there were some pretty negative and natural disasters that happened this month and year. So July 5th, Japan actually launched their first probe into space. They launched it to Mars. So at this time, in this month and year, considered Japan to now be explorers of outer space. Before it was just Russia and the U.S. On July 10th, actually, there was a Roman Catholic sex abuse scandal that was discovered in Dallas, Texas. There was a priest that had sexually abused several altar boys, and thankfully it was uncovered, and the altar boys were able to come forward, and they were able to get justice, and they were given over several $1 million as compensation for their grief and what they went through. I also looked up what gas prices were in July 1998, and it was between July 10th and July 24th. Gas prices were reported to be between $1.06 to $1.12 a gallon. I laugh because that's about 3 times less than what we spend now. On July 17th, there was a big natural disaster that happened in Papua New Guinea. There was a tsunami. A tsunami triggered an earthquake, and it left a lot of their population in ruins, and a lot of people died and were never found and were missing. The other sad situation that happened on July 24th, there was a shooting in the U.S. Capitol by Russell Eugene Weston Jr., and this left several people injured and hurt. Learning is such a wonderful way to understand more about yourself and where you come from. You know, whether you enjoy learning about movies or books, reading from books and learning from literature, or learning about just the history or zodiac signs, I believe that it's a very good, positive way for someone to grow and to learn more about yourself. And what could be better than learning about a time that you really don't know anything about? It was a time that you were innocent and you were little and you entered this world. So learning what the world was before you came, maybe you can learn even more because you weren't even there. I wonder what it would be like, though, if you could be there, knowingly be present, and be a part of it in a different way. Maybe going back in time and living the month that you were born.